what's it called? When a blind man, right? When a blind man learns how to see, the first thing he does is he throws away the stick that he's always relied on. Now listen, how does this apply to Discord debates? And you may ask. Okay, calm down. Let me tell you the answer. So basically, right, we have Sakazuki. We have Sakazuki, yeah, Sakazuki, and supposedly Sakazuki he had a problem. Sakazuki would go around and he'd use his friends, he'd use people around him for Skype activity apparently, and he'd, depending on how much value you bring to the server, he'll get you kicked out or he'll let you back in. And he's done this for many of his friends, and this is one of the reasons why you should never get taught by people on Discord. This is the reason why, if you know somebody is weird, or you have a little sneaking feeling that somebody on Discord is weird, then you should never, never, ever ask them to teach you. Now, let me tell you why, right? Because then it's like, once you think you surpassed your teacher, once you think that they have nothing left to teach you, then you realize, oh my goodness, this guy isn't actually as cool as I thought he was, right? He's actually cool. Instead, every single time you get into an argument with the guy, it's like, dude, I taught you how to debate, calm down. And it's like, okay, that's how you know somebody is like lame. I'm going to Skype occasionally. I see Sakazuki talking about how he made all of the One Piece guys, and it's like, dude, yes, you were better than them at a certain point in your life. I don't think that really means anything or has any bearing as to whether or not like you're actually, or whether or not you are cool. So I don't know what's it called, making them or giving them relevance is supposed to do. It's like, also, because certain people gain relevance from other people all the time. Right? For example, I don't think most of the community would know who Sakazuki is without Rakuzan. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything, or that doesn't make Sakazuki a worse person, right? That just means that he had an opportunity and he took it. I don't understand. I don't think that whenever people say that, it just seems to be really weird ego stuff, Like, why would you do that? Also, why do you run directly into me? And it's like, I've heard lots of really, really bad stuff about Sakazuki. I've heard lots of really, really bad stuff about like Discord people in general. Like, look, somebody who you will be friends with on a day-to-day basis, immediately they start being ranked higher than you in tier list, you notice that the energy around them starts to change, and you notice that they start like acting to you like a certain way. For example, I've seen this happen to other people, not me though, because I'm comp, but you've seen this like happen to loads of other people where they like get on call, you see them, they're supposed to be equals, rivals or whatever, right? And then as time goes on and as time passes, right, then all of a sudden they're like as they start getting ranked higher than the other person, they start like acting a certain way to them, they start being condescending. It's like, somebody of your skill level, I know you wouldn't be able to understand. It's like, look, why somebody who you've known since you first came on the app, since you were really, really bad, somebody who you've known since then, you're telling me that now you're going to start acting a certain way because suddenly you're being ranked higher than them. It's very, very odd. I don't know why people do that. And it's like, all of the I don't even do, like, to be fair, there is no good reason why people do that. Like, whenever people do that, it's like very, very odd. Look, because I've seen this happen loads of time. Whenever people hop on Discord, it's like, do you hop on, like, whenever I see people try and do something weird, and then their excuse is, oh yeah, it's Discord, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm pretty sure being on Discord doesn't give you an excuse to be a loser, right? It's like, I see certain people hop on the app and be like, oh yeah, I hop on the app and I eat day, and the reason why I can do that is specifically because, yeah, it's Discord, I can do what I want. It's like, so these are people who you're also going to actually build any form of meaningful relationship with. You're never going to be able to hug them, you're never going to be able to like kiss them, you're never going to be able to have anything deeper, any form of like a deeper relationship aside from sharing nitro. And it's like, is that really the life you want to live? Right? And then there's all of these like girls on Discord, and then somehow they managed to get extorted, and it's like, how does that even happen? You let a guy on code like treat you a certain way, Like, because of what? I'm so confused. And it's like, maybe, just maybe they're like threatening to dox them. It's like, okay, and you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he did do that. He did threaten you. But think about it. Right? In 10 years, you aren't going to remember the guy who doxed you on Discord, right? But in 10 years, you're probably going to still remember, still have scars of the person, of the like cuts you have, right, on your arms or your legs, because you decided that you wanted to cut Archimedes into your leg. And it's like, why would you do that? Also, certain people on Discord who have like immense egos, right? And I think I've been on in this side community for long enough to say that I can now add certain words to the top 5 worst words that I hate when people on Discord use them. So first of all, it's anecdotes, right? Because people just use it so grammatically, like I don't know, people, I don't know whether or not it's just people on Discord just have bad grammar, but the way they use anecdote is just completely like I don't know whether or not they didn't pass English class. Maybe that's the reason, right? Look, oh my goodness, I'm getting like boxed in, but people on Discord, they don't know how to use the word anecdote. So when I see people be like, oh yeah, I'm just basing it off of my personal anecdotal, it's like, that doesn't mean anything. Saying you're basing off of your personal anecdote doesn't mean anything. That's grammatically correct. What you mean to say is you're basing off of like what's it called, your personal experience. But because they just choose to add on the word anecdote to make themselves feel smarter, it just makes me not respect them. It makes me respect them less. Because now it just shows me that not only do you just not know what you're talking about, but also do you not know what you're talking about. At the same time, you also didn't pass English class. So there's that. And then there's the other, like, this isn't really a specific action that people in Discord do that I don't like. It's specifically a specific mindset where it's like they will claim to have loads of feats, and then when asked about any of these feats, or like why I should believe them when they say they have these feats, instead of answering me, instead what they choose to do is start insulting me. And it's like, for example, it'd be at a certain point when I was on Discord, I was like, yo, what's with all of the Trinity hype? Who's Trinity beaten? And then when I ask who's Trinity beaten, they take it as a personal attack. And then they're like, what's it called? Oh my goodness, you're such a dumbass. How do you not know who Trinity's beaten? Oh my goodness, you idiots. Even if I sent you Trinity recorders, you wouldn't be able to understand because he's just too smart for you. And I'm like, okay, bro. So are you going to answer the question now? Or like, are we just being pretentious today? It's like, certain people on Discord, I think they just get on here with the mindset that they're going to be as big like oh my god, they're going to be as big like wastes of space as possible. I don't really want like say, because maybe there's a slight possibility that they're doing it unconsciously. Maybe just maybe they've been raised to be socially inept, right? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe they've been raised to be socially inept, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Most people on the app aren't raised to be socially inept. So then we have to look at what the other options. What else could explain their lack of social cues, their lack of social skills? And then you just look at the fact that they have inflated egos, and it's really weird. I don't know why. I don't know why they have such inflated egos. Like, look, there's a certain person who I want to debate, right? I'm not going to name names. And then I know they're going to be watching this video. They said that if I didn't talk bad about them for one whole week, then they debate me. Now, lo and behold, a week has passed. And I still have not gone my debate. So I think I might be getting let me not say too much. The other thing is look, to speak more on the Sakazuki thing, I've seen loads of like really weird screenshots. Now apparently he's like, what's it called, some of the screenshots are fake, and it's like, yeah, that's what everyone says whenever they're like whenever somebody exposes them or something. But like, I looked at the screenshot, it doesn't look fake, right? So I don't really get that impression whenever I see the screenshot. So it's like, okay, either one of you is lying, and I'm inclined to believe that the guy who, like, because there's this specific thing with Sakazuki where he starts treating people bad depending on them not wanting to give activity to the server. So Gosh, I'm really sick. So, for example, he unbanned Maya from Scapia. Now, if you don't know, Maya is like posted she posted a blood play in chat and he banned her. And then specifically when Yoni was coming back and there was a prospect of more activity, he was fine with unbanning Maya. And it's like, so this guy has no principles basically, because he started unbanning people who send really horrific stuff in chat. Specifically because they make his server more active, and it's like, do you have no spine? Are you unable to actually get activity on your own without actually having to rely on leech and do such unethical stuff to actually get that specific activity? And then there's this other thing where I know he likes to say, oh yeah, I don't debate, right? But clearly he does. So what he does, he'll be like, okay, it's this. He asks you to discuss something with him. So he's trying to speak to you. And I take a discussion to be more casual than a debate. And then he has to discuss. And then immediately, what's it called? While you don't know, he'll start recording. And he did it to Draco specifically too. Because Draco like wasn't debating him. Because if it was a debate, then they probably wouldn't have ended so quickly. But Draco was debating him, or discussing with him, I should say. And Sakazuki recorded it. Now, I don't know if he was recording while Draco knew or not. It doesn't really matter to me specifically. All I know is that very, very clearly, Draco wasn't considering it a debate. He was approaching it way differently to how he does in almost all of his other debates. And now, like Sakazuki, what he does, whenever you tell him things like that, is you be like, prove it, prove it, prove it. And then it's like, yeah, well, the proof is just in the pudding. You can watch the debate and watch his debate, and then of course he's going to say that yeah, I don't think he acted any differently, but he's the one who wants defeat. Nobody else wants defeat for him. And it's like, very specifically on, at least on my tier list, right, I have to like rank the guy very specifically in places where I don't want to rank him, because I don't actually think he's better than Bridge. I don't actually think he's better than Draco, right? I think Draco just has way better performances on Naruto and Bleach, way better knowledge on Naruto and Bleach, right? Better rhetoric is like a little bit iffy, but generally Draco should still be like way better, right? And then he hasn't been debating for a while, so whenever he like starts speaking to Sakazuki again after like months of not debating, and then he performs worse than he usually does, it's like, that's expected, right? Because he's rusty. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's rusty, so I don't understand how you see this supposed to be a feat. But give me a second, brief intermission. Again, this is one of the biggest flaws with like people are just going, look. Like, I'm going to go into my DMs with Sakazuki, right? And wait, actually no, if I go into my DMs with Sakazuki, it's like I have personal stuff in there. But look, like Sakazuki claims he's friends with Yanni, then he unclaims the fact that he's friends with Yanni, and then he says Yanni is fake. And then the reason why he says Yanni is fake is specifically because Yanni doesn't think he's good, something like that, or Yanni did something. Like, it isn't really my business, I don't really care, right? But in my instance, the reason why he says I'm fake is because he supposedly, hypothetically, he hypes me up and he upscales me. And I don't do the same to him. And it's like, dude, you hype me up, and the reason why you're able to do that is because I'm really good, right? But the reason why I can't do the same for you is because I just don't think you're that good. And so if I did actually think you were that good, then I'd be hyping you up like I do with C, like I do with Manny, like I do with the Yugi, like I do with all of these guys, these like new people who are up and comers, who are like really good, who are really smart, and like they're doing stuff regular people or the average sidecom debater isn't doing. They actually know some of what they're talking about. And then, but with Sakazuki, it's like, look, I genuinely think Manny is better than Sakazuki. I think Yugi is better than Sakazuki. And it's like, all of those things, I can't really express those type of opinions to him, because instead of actually like what's it called? They just be like, oh yeah, sure, that's your opinion, it's fine. Instead, what he'll do is you start giving me, start spreading about opinions that he clearly doesn't believe. And the reason, what's it called? And he'll start arguing for opinions that he doesn't believe. And he'll start basically being dishonest because he can't handle the fact that he can like hype up somebody and then not hype him back because he just isn't that good or he isn't as good as he thinks he is. And it's like, it's fine to not be as good as you think you are, you know? It's fine. It's like, it's not a bad thing, you know? Yeah, if you get what I mean. I don't know why he gets this false misconception. Like, also, if one of the main points in his like debate with Draco, as to a quote debate at least, as to why he thinks he won, specifically because there was an argument he gave that was supposed to be defeating to Draco Reducti that he never got to give, and it's like, why should I care about some argument that you never even gave? Right, that you were about to give, that he cut you off? Why would I care about that? Right, just because you decided to be big-headed and like not actually finish the debate when it got to anything of substance, and it's kind of sad, you know. Also, the more I go into side communities, right, I've realized I'm not seeing good debaters per se. I'm seeing more bad debaters than I'm seeing good. So like, I can't go into. I'm not building up enough speed whenever I'm like going into like this specific part. I don't know why, but specifically when I'm going into this side community, right? It's like I go in and I'm seeing, oh yeah, is there anyone there who's actually like smart, who's actually like you know, unique, that doing something interesting. And it's like, no. Instead, what I see is this like absolute low tier, bottom of the barrel like debaters, and it's like, this is, I need to control my speed on the turn, but it's kind of, ignore my sickness, but it's kind of disappointing. And it's like, sometimes I think every good debater who or even decent debater who actively still debates will notice that the better you get, the less people there are for you to debate. And the reason why there are less people to debate is because so many people in the community are just really bad. And yeah, it's like, very specifically, there are either A, debaters who debate one inverse, and because that one inverse is done by nobody, instead of debating that, what they can debate is just obscure stuff, like, for example, who's better than who. And when they debate that type of stuff, right, it's like, okay, so, like, I don't know. Also, speaking of which, there was this debater who annoyed me really, really much, and his name's Mentality, and it's like, I don't think I've ever been genuinely like annoyed by somebody on Discord, and it's like, he'd speak for 5 minutes straight, right, and then when I try to give a response, or I try to tell him, look, you're speaking for a bit too long, he just keeps going, and he tries to like bulldoze through the argument, and it's really annoying. And it's like, look, I get you don't want to be cut off, but it'd be kind of rude for me not to cut you off if you spoke for 5 minutes and I had so many questions and I never got to ask them simply because you wanted to finish a sentence. And it's like, why would you want to finish a sentence where I don't even understand half of the argument? It's like, if you start speaking Japanese in the middle of your sentence, of course I'm not going to understand you. And it's like, look, he uses, most of the debates he has, it feels as if he's reading, and the reason why is because he is reading, right? So for example, he couldn't define to me what a false analogy is off the top of his head. Instead, he had to go and read, and he didn't actually like summarize it. Instead, he actually just like actually read. So he, what's it called? How do I explain it? He just went to the website and he started reading, and he read the full thing, including like who actually made the fallacy or who pointed out why it was like a false fallacy. And it's like, dude, you're doing too much for one, and two, this doesn't make you sound any smarter. Speaking for as long as he is doesn't make you sound any smarter. What it actually is filibustering. Now, I think you know who I think is another extremely great, he's a wonderful, actually, I'd say even he's an excellent, he's a divine filibusterer, right? He's mastered the art, and his name is Archimedes, right? He's mastered the art of speaking for so long that the audience and his opponents forget what he's saying. And if the off chance that they don't forget what he's saying, and then they quote unquote lose because of a tracking issue, it's like, is that skill? Is being able to speak for hours on end skill, especially when it's like not a formal debate, where it's like what's it called? It's actually an informal debate, and since you're debating the guy, isn't like there's a time limit on how you can speak or how long you can speak. And it's like nobody really wants to end up in debates where each opponent is like speaking for hours on end. Like each opponent wants to be able to speak, but not speak for years. That's just like absurd. And it's like the reason why I feel most people, not most people specifically, those two people do that is because, you know, that of course everyone's gonna need a way to like cover up for a lack of skill. So when you don't know generally what you're talking about, right? You either need to A, speak for extremely long and spit jargon, or B, what you need to do is just like rap. So when I go into debates and I see Archie just screaming the word, oh, I don't presuppose that, I don't presuppose that. And it's like, what do you presuppose, for one? And two, it's like, why are you so dishonest? And he's admitted to being dishonest in the interview I had with him. So it's like, why would anyone grant that this guy is supposed to be a good debater when the only thing he relies on to win his debates is dishonesty? And it's like, do we as a community value dishonesty when we're saying who's a good debater? Do we value your ability to lie in the middle of the conversation? No, we generally value like people's ability to actually make coherent, true arguments, right? And not actually try to be dishonest or try to trick your opponent into agreeing to things that they don't want to. Now, you may say you can force your opponent to agree because they have no better way to actually escape the argument. That's fine, that's a skill. But just lying to your opponent isn't something that's like that is unique to anyone. Because there's been loads of people who've like mastered the art of ratting. There was like who were the rats back then? There was Sendings. There was like Infinity can rat. Every debater can rat, right? The only difference between like when they do it and when Archie does is because Archie has allowed the mic, and some people have like gotten this false perception of what rhetoric is, and they fooled themselves into thinking this who has allowed the mic, and it's like, no, it's not. So again, I don't know why people would value that type of like blood sports type of debater. I don't want to be like a philosophy good debater. It's like, why did anyone even like take that into account whenever they're talking about skill? Like, okay, yes, you can speak for years on end, and it's like weird. Also, I don't know where Zizo. I think if anyone watched the analysis I gave of his debate with Mason, someone like hyped him up, someone slapped him on the cheek and tried to convince him that he was good. And it's like, who did that? Who lied to you? It's like, whoever lied to you, I hope they seek professional help soon, because how dare they just set off like blatant lies like this? Like, if anyone heard his debate with Zizo, it's like actually pathetic, and I don't understand how he can convince himself he was good after that. And then it's like, okay, so Zizo, apparently you have vouchers that say you're like really good, and then I ask him who the vouchers are, and the people who he has in tier 1, like Infinity, the people who he has like really high, all seem to like be in consensus that I'm better than him. And it's like, dude, so if everyone who's competent is saying I'm better than you, and the only person who isn't saying that I'm better than you is BB Reborn, then clearly there's a clear issue here, right? Because one of you just is really bad, right? The other one is really bad and has no feats, right? So again, and not only that, they're literally best friends. So how is anyone supposed to take you seriously when your only voucher is your blood brother, your best friend? It makes no sense to me, you know? I don't understand this. But again, this is Mishara. That's it. And I'm gone.